Why hello and welcome back to my mental health awareness video series. This is video number 6. So today's topic is around gender identity, sexuality, and mental health. Bear with me because this is one of those topics that I'm trying not to mix it up because they're two different topics in one, but they both relate to how you identify yourself. So I want to start with gender identity. So we may, when you were born in a certain body. So day one that you're born, you're told that you're a female, or you're told that you're a male. But as you start to grow and develop and stuff, you may feel that that you don't belong in that body that you were born in, your biological body. And so this is it's a start of like, who am I and why am I in this body? I don't feel like I'm a female or I'm a male or whatever it is that you feel. So it's typically developed early in life, and it's about how you perceive your gender and how you show it to others and how you want others to treat you. So how you identify yourself. As I've mentioned, the physical features that you are born with don't necessarily define your gender. If you don't feel that you fit with your biological gender, that is okay. So just because you are female doesn't mean that you have to be or you have to feel female. It's a lot easier said than done to be able to go out in the world and say yes, this is how I look, but it's not me. There's a lot of, nowadays there are a lot of other diverse genders out there, such as being fluid. I can relate to being gender fluid. So yes, I am female, and yes, today I am wearing quite feminine clothing. But there are days where it's like, I would just wear like a flannelette and stuff, and it's like, I just don't feel very feminine. And you can tell that with my behavior at times and stuff like that, and how I talk and stuff, the clothes that I wear, the way that I identify myself, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I look like this, but it's not, I wake up and at times I don't feel very feminine, I feel rather masculine. So that is being gender fluid. So there are other things as being trans. So transgender, again, it's like, not feeling that you fit within your body and that you want to change that appearance. So with transgender people, there is so much discrimination around being a lot of people being transphobic, and unfortunately that is very, very sad to hear people's experiences that they get discriminated against because they want to change their body. So they want to go from male to female, they want to have the surgery, they want to go on hormone replacements and all that kind of stuff, or male to female, either way. But they want to make that physical change. It's not just about how they identify themselves, what's going up here, I'm Michelle today, but I want to be identified as Michael. So when it comes to transgender, it is one of those things that can be quite sensitive, and it's like, where do I go from here, and what clothes do I wear, and what do I, it's just a complete change, and that transformation isn't overnight. It's an impact on your mental health, talking to people, getting the right supports around it and stuff, and the discrimination can have such an impact on a person's mental health. And just with any kind of gender identity issues can have an effect on your mental health, whether it's whether you're fluid, whether you're trans, whether you're androgynous, whether you're there's just so many different types, and I'm only just naming a couple from the top of my head, that I can remember, but there's so much more than that. So people who are gender diverse can experience or can go through some common experiences like feeling different from others around them. As I mentioned, being fluid, it's like, yeah, I'm female, but I don't actually feel like it today. I'm actually rather like, quite masculine and stuff. And it's, so you feel different around others, maybe bullied about your gender identity, whether it's verbal or physical. And unfortunately, sometimes it can be sexual, bullying, or assaults, abuse, that kind of stuff, which is very unfortunate. Feeling pressure to deny your feelings regarding your gender identity. As I said, it is one of those things that is hard to talk about, that this is how I look, but it's not who I am. So it's like you feel around people that you have to push it down and just blend with society at times. Other things is worrying that your gender identity may not be accepted by friends and family and support members, and feeling that you may be possibly rejected or isolated. I know for me that's one of those things, but that comes into sexuality and stuff like that, which again, that's another topic I will be talking about. And apart from worrying about feeling rejected and stuff, you may feel unsupported by others. Or feeling that you are misunderstood, and that can bring you 10 steps backwards instead of the progress that you made to be like, okay, today I'm going to open up about my identity to my family, to my friends, to whoever it is. But it is quite valid to feel that you're misunderstood and unsupported by the responses to you and stuff, because that some families, they don't understand, and it's a shock factor and stuff. So you may feel stressed and anxious in relations to the pressure to conform with your biological sex, and it's one of those things where it's like, I'm wearing a dress today because it's hot, but I'd rather be walking around in jeans and stuff. And it's like, at least I feel I can relate to who I am and who I feel that I am. So the pressures can be very stressful, especially when combined with other issues in life, such as managing school or university, friendships, work, and making sense about who you are and where you fit in this world. So early signs suggesting that there's a possible mental health problem with gender diversity. Changes in your mood, so feeling sadder, more anxious and more irritable. Changes in behavior, being less talkative, becoming withdrawn or being more aggressive. Changes in relationships, so falling out with friends or your partner, or conflict with family because you don't feel accepted, or just because it's hard to talk about. Changes in appetite, so eating too much or too little, losing or gaining weight without trying to, and changes in your sleep pattern, whether you're not sleeping enough or you're sleeping too much. I hibernate a lot, so I can actually resonate with that. Changes in coping, you may feel overwhelmed or tired with life, because it's like, it's like, I can't cope with stuff, and reaching out, it's hard, and don't know what to do, and it's just because I'm different from others and I don't feel accepted. Changes in thinking, so you're thinking more negative thoughts, so you're thinking about self-harm or suicide. So these are possible early signs that there may be a mental health issue arising. So getting help is very important in the early stages. Or it doesn't matter, when in your life stage that you decide to get help, but getting help can actually help you with progressing and feeling accepted and knowing how to identify yourself and having those conversations and feeling that you can fit in with society, and getting through the discrimination and how to be able to feel supported with your family and friends, opening that conversation and stuff. And especially people like, such as transgender, when they make the decision to go through hormone replacement therapy, and years down the track they decide that they want to change their body and go through with the surgery. That it can be something that's very, very stressful. It's expensive, and whether or not your family and friends and your supports and stuff that they agree with it, it could be a major shock factor. Then you may feel rejected by them, all that kind of stuff. So it's important whether you talk to your GP, a mental health support, places like Headspace, 2010, the Transgender Centre. There are plenty of services out there, or whether it's just like a mental health service. They can refer you on to someone who can help you talk about these issues. So ways to help yourself is, it includes eating well, getting enough sleep, spending time with people you trust who are accepting and who make you feel good about yourself. Talk to people about how you feel, exercise, avoid alcohol and other drugs, find time for enjoyable activities in your day, and get help if things aren't improving. So I'm very hypocritical about saying this because I don't eat well. My sleep has been very on and off and stuff like that. But, it's about establishing a sleep routine, and whether you need certain medications to help you and all that kind of stuff. Having your supports there. White noise helps me get to sleep at times, stuff like that. Exercise, I love my exercise. And I'm a very open person, so talking to supports and all that kind of stuff. So now I want to go into sexuality. So sexuality occurs on a spectrum from heterosexual, so being straight, to homosexual, which means that you may be attracted to the same sex. And there are many other different sexuality types. So you may identify with such things that, like, being gay, lesbian, bisexual, straight, pansexual, intersex, or anything else that, please feel free to add it down into the comments. Or you may be questioning, you don't know what your sexuality is. So same-sex attraction, it includes identifying as gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, pansexual, and includes those who are questioning their sexual orientation and those who are unsure. So I'm pretty sure I just repeated myself there, but so those who are attracted to the same sex have higher rates of mental health and substance use disorders. While being attracted to the same sex, it does not cause mental health difficulties, though there are a range of stressful experiences that may contribute to increasing the risk of depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide. So that's where, not feeling accepted, being rejected by others, that kind of stuff. So common experiences for the LGBTQI community, that acronym just keeps getting longer and longer with all the different sexuality types and stuff. And so common experiences which a person may go through is similar to sexual identity, as I've mentioned, with feeling different from other people. Homophobic bullying. So it's like whether it's verbal or physical, and sometimes sexual, unfortunately. Feeling pressure to deny or change your sexuality, and it's like, you don't just wake up and one day it's like, I am a lesbian today, or tomorrow I am straight, and the next day I choose to be pansexual, or the next day I'm questioning, or the next day that I'm gay, or the next day, it's not like that. And it's not a choice kind of thing. It's about who you are attracted to, and I want to make that clear, because there is a lot of stigma around it and stuff, or it can come down to experiences, whether you've had a lot of bad experiences with a certain gender and you feel more comfortable around others, and that is okay. Again, it comes down to who you are attracted to. So other things would be like, worries about coming out to friends and family members, along with the possibility of being rejected and isolated. So again, with gender identity, you do or may feel the pressure, and it's hard to talk about it, but having the conversation does make life a bit easier. And again, you may feel unsupported or misunderstood by family and friends. So the pressure can be very stressful in life, especially when combined with other issues in life, such as schooling, university and stuff, as I've mentioned previously, and how you identify yourself in the world. So discrimination, there has been so much around discrimination around sexuality. So I'm not exactly straight myself. Yes, I have a boyfriend. I've also had a girlfriend. And so I may lean towards one sex more than the other, depending on experiences and stuff, depending on my attraction. So that means that I'm a bisexual. And that doesn't bother me. I can talk about it, and there may be certain people like, yes, I felt rejected by it, like having that conversation, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, it's who I am. And it took me a long time to be able to get to that point. But with discrimination, homophobia or sexuality-based discrimination can make it difficult to enjoy life fully, have a sense of well-being, and fully accept your identity. The discrimination can make it hard to ask for help or to know when to turn when problems arise. If you're going for weeks or months, or they are impacting things like your sleep and your appetite, concentration on, or on relationships, then it may be time to go and get help. So there are some early signs to suggest that there's a possible mental health issue arising, such as changes in mood, changes in behavior, changes in relationships, changes in appetite, changes in sleep pattern, coping, and thinking. So again, same as with gender identity, about what you may feel with signs that a mental health issue could be arising from it all. So getting help, it is very important to go and get help, especially when it's having an impact on your life. And so getting help, it can reduce the effects of mental health problems on your life. It can prevent more serious problems in the future as well. So, some lesbian, gay or bisexual young people in particular find it especially hard to ask for help. It might be because of discrimination by health professionals in the past, or fears that they're going to be discriminated against, worries about privacy, difficulty talking to strangers about their sexuality, not knowing how to describe themselves, that kind of stuff. It's about, again, how you identify yourself, whether it is your gender or your sexuality or both. It's important to find someone that you trust to confide in to support you through your journey. So it might be a GP, other health professional experience in working with sexual same attraction with young people, like 2010. Headspace can be helpful. There are other services that are up there to help you. So a trusted friend, teacher, family member might also be able to recommend someone to talk to. It can take some time to find the right mental health professional. Not one professional will fit all, and it's about how comfortable you feel about talking about these issues, because again, it is something that isn't easy to talk about. So again, helping yourself includes eating well, getting enough sleep, spending time with people you trust, that are accepting of you and make you feel good about yourself. Talk to people about how you feel. So being able to feel supported, and keeping the conversation open is very important. Exercise, avoiding AOD, finding enjoyable activities, and getting help when things don't improve. And remember that exploring your sexuality is a normal and healthy part of growing up. And if you want to talk through any questions or concerns about your sexual identity, there are many services. And I myself identify myself as, same-sex attraction and all that kind of stuff. And I've got lived experience and knowledge around it. So if you need someone to talk to, I can help you refer onwards or have a brief conversation with you and that kind of stuff. But again, these videos are around raising awareness around mental health and trying to break down the stigma. So yes, I've spoken about gender identity and sexuality and how looking after your mental health in regards to that. So they are two different topics when we talk about how we identify ourselves, but it's still about your identity, and it's quite diverse. We're not all heterosexuals. We're not all, feel that we are male or female based on our biological sex. And it's 2015, almost 2016, and we should be able to open the conversation up a bit more about how we feel we identify ourselves as and stuff, because it is such an important thing to feel comfortable in your own skin, to feel comfortable talking to others, expressing yourself, healthy relationships, and all that kind of stuff. So, that's really all that I have for today. So, likes, comments, share if you like. The more awareness that we can raise around mental health, the better. And I will get back to you about the next topic, or again, please, comments. I'm not getting many topics about mental health, or what issues that are associated with mental health even. So drop me a line, give me a comment. Feedback is amazing. But yeah, this was only a very summarized one because it was 2 issues in one. So even though it's like over 20 minutes long. So enjoy the rest of your day and your week and such. And remember that even though you may feel one way about yourself, it doesn't mean that you should feel rejected by others and stuff just because you don't feel the way that you look and stuff like that, or because that you're attracted to the same sex or whatever it is, or it's just very important because we are all diverse, we all feel diverse things, and being able to have someone that you can feel supported with to help open up the conversations and help you feel comfortable within yourself, it's very important. So it's one of those things in my videos that I do stress about, is keeping yourself mentally and physically healthy, because if your mental health isn't exactly the most stablest, then how can you look after yourself physically? So likes and comments, shares, as I mentioned before. Cool, have a great one, and I hope you enjoyed video number 6.